Welcome, another edition of Suzy's Las Vegas. My very special guest today is Angelo Cassaro. He's the man who wears many hats. Hi, Angelo. Welcome to the
Hello,
club.
Suzy. Yeah.
Suzy's Club.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes. So let's talk about you today. You've been here for how long?
I've been here in May. It'll be 45 years. 1979, we moved here.
Wow, you were 10 years old, weren't you?
No, I was still already old. I was 30.
Yeah.
Nancy and I came from Buffalo,
Okay.
as you know.
Yes.
And we came out here in 79. The economy in Buffalo was really bad. You know, it was the late 70s. It was all the oil embargoes and all that kind of stuff like that. And I had started out as a plumber. I did 10,000 hours
Wow.
as an apprentice plumber to become a journeyman plumber. And sure enough, after that, there wasn't really any work. And quite frankly, the unions back in Buffalo, well, if I can tell the whole story.
Tell the story.
Yeah, well,
That's what we want to hear.
So my father, Joseph Cassaro, and happy St. Joseph's Day to everybody today.
Uh-huh. That's right.
My dad, God rest his soul, he was a plumber, and he was the president of the Plumbers Union in Buffalo.
Okay.
But when I got out of high school, you know, not knowing really what was going on, what I wanted to do, I knew I wasn't college material, let me put it that way. So I went to the plumbing school with the union, and it's a 5-year program, and it's 2,000 hours a year, so you have to get 10,000 hours to be eligible to become a journeyman. And by the time I became a journeyman, by the time my 10,000 hours were done, my father at a young age had a heart attack, and he didn't die yet, although he did die young. But when he retired, don't take any offense, but the Irish guys took over the union.
Oh, wow.
And the Italians were out. I mean,
Seriously?
Oh yeah. You know, and it's funny because I tell people that story, and you know, my generation, people my age and older, they understand about the discrimination, the conflict between, especially the Irish and the Italians back then.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a matter of fact. You know, people didn't think that it even existed in the 70s, but it did. And the fact is that, you know, it was so disrespectful to my family, especially to my father, who worked so hard to make the union good and all that kind of stuff, that when there was no more work for us over there, it's just, you know, when you're young and you're ambitious, and I felt talented, that when somebody takes away your ability to earn a living, it could be problematic.
Oh, yeah.
And
Sure.
the smart thing was basically to get out of Dodge. And Nancy and I came here in 1971 for our honeymoon.
Oh, really?
So we're celebrating 53 years married.
Oh, my God.
This year. But so we were here in 71 for our honeymoon, and even though back then, you know, we didn't know that people lived here.
Yeah, just come visit.
Yeah, well, you know, we thought it was casinos, and that was
yeah,
it. And
yeah.
You didn't even think back then about people that work in these casinos actually live here,
Yeah.
go to school, and go to church, and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
you know. But we had some friends that moved out here, the Cavarettas.
Oh, yeah.
And if you remember the Flying Cavarettas, I don't know if you knew about them, but
I've heard of them.
the family of the Flying Cavarettas, they had a show. They were acrobats, you know, and they did the trapeze show at Circus over the casino floor, you know, for years, decades and decades. And there was 4 sisters and Jimmy, the brother that was the catcher.
Sure.
And they were out here, and my best friend, who's now my kumbade, Gary Cavaretta, his first cousin to them, he came out to visit them from Buffalo.
Yeah.
And he was a plumber also. And he was experiencing the same thing as I was with the discrimination and no work and stuff like that.
Right.
And next thing I know, I get a phone call from him that says, I bought a house in Las Vegas. I said,
What?
Are you crazy? People don't live in Las Vegas. And the next thing I knew is I flew out and visited him, and you know, the housing was considerably more expensive than it was in Buffalo at the time. But coming out here again and seeing that blue sky every day,
Yep.
and a town
gets
that
to
was
you.
new,
Yeah.
that was, we saw the potential for growth. And, back in Buffalo, even if I wanted to go into business for myself back then, with the economy being as bad as it was, there was companies that were 100 years old that were going out of business. So ultimately I came back. I told Nancy, I said, what do you think about moving out there? It's
Yeah.
blue sky every day.
Yeah.
They didn't have any state income tax,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And
Lots of
she
positives.
she said, let's do it. And
Yeah.
we sold our house like in one day. It was one of those kind of things that I guess it was meant to be,
Sure,
So
absolutely.
we came out here. We bought a piece of property, a half-acre piece of property where we live right now, still today.
Wow.
And Nancy and I, we put a 60-foot trailer home on the property, and we both lived in that trailer while I built the house.
There you go.
And I really built the house with my own two hands. I hired 2 guys to help me put the basement in. I hired 2 guys to help me pour the slab and the concrete. I hired 1 guy to help me frame the entire house. Him and I framed the whole house. I did all the electric, all the plumbing, all this stuff, all the roof, all this stuff. And a year later, the house was, that was my job for the whole year, was building the house.
Sure, absolutely.
Nancy got a job at Anderson Dairy.
Did she?
Yeah, so she
Yeah.
was working at Anderson Dairy and coming home and helping me hold the ruler and measure
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Ultimately, when we finished the house and the Nevada Savings and Loan that gave me the construction loan came out and said, okay, you did a good job. Now you got to pay off the construction loan and turn it into a permanent mortgage. Well, a couple things that got scary about that is when we left Buffalo, we left a $21,000 house with a 5.5% FHA mortgage. And we moved into a house that now had an $80,000 mortgage at 13.5%. Yeah, I mean, just over a year and a half.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Carter years, the chart changed all
The way
that stuff.
they went, yeah.
So it was kind of scary, but
Yeah.
the bank also said that my house was worth like $140,000.
Okay.
I said, on paper, I just made a lot
How do-
more money than I ever did putting in pipes as a plumber. So we moved into this beautiful home and said that, I think I should start building houses.
Yeah.
So that's really what happened. I started building, instead of building one house a year with my own 2 hands, I built a couple houses and hired other contractors, framers, electricians. Of course, I did all the plumbing. And every time I built another building, I had to do more plumbing. Then my brother Joe moved out, who was 5 years younger than I am. He moved out. So now I'm building homes and duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. And while I'm building those, I got my general contractor's license. I got my plumbing license. By then, now, of course, we're doing all the plumbing for all these things.
Sure.
So the plumbing company started to grow, and the construction company started to grow. And quite frankly, we've never looked back.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's how it got started.
That's how it got started.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been very blessed. And just on that same thing as with when I talk about the union, the people that were right in my face, about you won't be working right now.
Oh,
You
wow.
won't be working. 10 years later, I became president of the Plumbers Association out here.
And you said, look at me now.
Well, I didn't say that, but they
You thought that.
they had the national convention here at the old
Yeah.
MGM, and because I was president of the Plumbers Association here, the national had me. The National PHCC, Plumbers Heating Contract Association, is the oldest trade organization in the United States and United Kingdom.
Wow.
So because I was the president locally over here, and they had the national convention here, they asked me to do the opening remarks
Wow.
and welcome everybody. So in the auditorium or in the audience
Yeah.
of thousands of delegates from all over the country
Yeah.
was a contingency from Buffalo, the people that chased me out of town. So
And you said, hi, how are you?
I did. Of course you can't make
Oh,
bones
my
about
God.
that.
Congratulations
Yeah,
on
so-
that. Hold that thought for 1 minute. We'll be right back. We're going to do a hard break.
Are you dreaming of a cruise getaway with friends or family? Discover the incredible benefits of booking a group tour cruise with Diamond Travel. Benefit number 1, shared experiences. There's nothing like sharing the magic of travel with loved ones. A group tour cruise creates unforgettable moments, from exciting shore excursions to onboard entertainment, making every experience more enjoyable when shared. Benefit number 2, cost savings. One of the perks of group travel is cost savings. With Diamond Travel, you can enjoy exclusive group discounts, making your dream cruise more affordable without compromising luxury. Benefit number 3, group dining. Indulge in delectable cuisine together. Group tours often include reserved dining options, ensuring your group can savor gourmet meals while enjoying each other's company. Benefit number 4, hassle-free planning. Forget the stress of planning individual itineraries. Our expert planners at Diamond Travel care for all the details, ensuring a seamless experience from booking to disembarkation. Benefit number 5, celebrate together. Whether it's a milestone birthday, anniversary, or a long-awaited reunion, a group tour cruise provides the perfect setting to celebrate special occasions surrounded by those who matter most.
Your journey should be as unique as you are. I'm Suzy Saline Lipsky, and I'm here to give you your dream getaway.
Visit diamondtravel.com to book your adventure today.
As you can see, I wear many hats, and if you'd like to join me on the Seabourn Venture in April, please give us a call. We have a group going to Ireland and Scotland. It should be a fantastic trip. And we're back with Angelo Cassaro. Hi, Angelo, we're back again. And Italian American Club, you've been president forever. So tell us a little bit more about
Well, not exactly forever, but, right now, today's St. Joseph's Day, so it was, I want to say 43 years ago that when I first went to the Italian American Club. Very shortly after we moved here, it was St. Joseph's Day. And the Italians celebrate St. Joseph. And the Italian American Club, for all these years, have always celebrated St. Joseph's. They have a St. Joseph's table is what they do. They put out a lot of food, and it's all non-meat, during Lent.
Sure.
I put out a table, and typically in the old country and even back east, a lot of places that celebrate it, they put out a lot of food primarily to not only celebrate St. Joseph's, but also to feed the poor. And the Italian American Club had this event, and my parents came out from Buffalo, and my grandmother, God rest her soul, came out, and all of us went to the Italian American Club for the first time and enjoyed the St. Joseph's Day dinner that they had over there and got acquainted with the place. And very shortly after that, I joined the club. So I've been a member for about 43, 44 years, something like that. And and just to tell you a little bit about the Italian American
Yes.
Club is the club started in 1961, and a bunch of Italian American businessmen that moved from all over the country, back east, California, wherever they came from,
Right.
they were here. And back in those days, 1960, they're like today. There is no Italian neighborhoods. There was no real neighborhoods like there were in the big cities. So these guys would meet once a month and have lunch and socialize and network and that kind of stuff like this. Ultimately, they decided to really form an organization, and so they put a group together, and a guy by the name of Nick Fiore, which his nickname was Nick Kelly, but he was a maitre d' at the one of the big clubs back in New York. I forgot the name of it, but big famous place in New York. So he was pretty connected, and but he was out here, and they organized to have a big ball at the old Riviera.
Oh, really?
And they sold so many tickets. And of course, everybody, particularly all the Italian American entertainers, and of course, I'm talking about Sinatra and Dean Martin and Perry Como and Jimmy Durante and Rocky Marciano. Just all these people really got behind it and sold a lot of tickets to raise money. Sinatra donated a brand new Cadillac so they could sell raffle tickets. Wow. Well, they sold enough raffle tickets at that event to buy the piece of property where we're at today, at 2333 East Sahara.
Wow.
Excuse me, my
Oh,
allergies
my
are a little.
God.
So they sold enough tickets to that. So
Yeah.
that's how the club got started. They bought the piece of property where we're at still right now today. Our facility is 12,000 square feet, as you know. You're
Yes,
there all
I'm
the time.
there. Yes.
You're all the time.
I love it.
And so the club's been there for that long, and then ultimately by 1988, yeah, 1988, I'm at a meeting, or 1987, I'm at a meeting, and the club was having some financial issues and some leadership issues and different things like that. And this goes on throughout the whole country, no matter what ethnic group you're talking about. They have hard times, they have good times, they have bad times.
Sure.
Well, I'm at a meeting one night, and a membership meeting, and the president at the time, he was also doing tax returns for people. So he was in the office during a meeting, and the board of directors were reading the minutes from the board meeting and saying that they were basically going to sell out the business to a third party outside company and stuff. And so I started asking some questions about, what happens with our privileged license, our nonprofit organization license. What happens with the members, what their rights and benefits are going to be, and all that kind of stuff. There's enough questions got raised, including our liquor license and things like that. So they squashed that whole thing, put it on hold, and said that they wanted to appoint an ad hoc committee to figure out why the club was in such despair. And next thing you know, they appointed me. And I said, okay, I'll look into it. By this time, I was already in business in Las Vegas for, close to 9 years and stuff. So I didn't know much about the restaurant business, that kind of stuff, but business is kind of business,
Sure.
And I told them as long as I got keys to every cabinet and file and cabinet like this. And a month later, I came back and said that the fact of the matter is this club really needs to be run as a business. It's a beautiful thing. It's a social club, but they were paying the help with cash. Nobody had insurance. That there wasn't insurance on the property. A chef could cut his thumb off and own the property. That kind of
God.
stuff like that. And a lot of people didn't want to hear about changing it like this because the price of poker just went up a little
Yep.
bit.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the next thing you know is they nominated me for president. They closed nominations. I don't want to say I've been president ever since, but I was president for the next 6 years, and then I took a little time. And then I've been president again for the last 14 years. Wow. So, and our club is doing, we're very fortunate. Like I said, we have a 12,000 square foot facility. That we're
Right.
open Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah.
We have a fabulous menu. Our food is authentic. It's all fresh. We have an incredible bar. We have incredible staff, It's not the 5-star five dining, but we're very proud of our food. We're very proud of our staff, our service, and our entertainment. We have entertainment 5 nights a week, live entertainment
Yeah.
5 nights a week, and
Yeah.
then our grand ballroom, our showroom. We have all kinds of shows and stuff, as you know.
Oh, yeah, it's
And
wonderful.
you can look into it if you want to
Yes.
our website at
Please.
iacvegas.com. iacvegas.com. You'll see all the different shows that we have and everything. And one of the things that we're excited about right now to talk about is that, as you know, Suzy, every year we have our scholarship
Yes,
program, our
that's
scholarship
important.
foundation.
Please.
Where this June the 15th, we're going to award another $65,000 in scholarships
Wow.
to local Clark County Italian American students. And these are the best of the best, deserving students that help them with their educational goals, And this year on June 15th, when we have our scholarship awards luncheon, Governor Joe Lombardo will be our guest speaker, and he'll present the scholarships.
Oh, that would be
So
fabulous.
that's something we're very, very proud of,
Yeah.
and all the donations come in. We're a 501c3, which is a charitable organization.
That's right.
So, and we have some major contributors that know that our scholarship program is totally on the up and up. And, our scholarship committee gets these applications, all the names and everything are redacted, so they have no idea who these applicants are. Back in the olden days,
Yeah.
it was always the oldest board of directors' grandson got the money, period.
Sure.
But that's changed. And it's changed so much so that the National Italian American Foundation in Washington, D.C. recognizes us. We're an affiliate of them, and they contribute. And our top student then gets awarded a 2-week all expense paid to Italy that's sponsored by the National Italian
Wow.
American Foundation
That's
as
amazing.
part of another perk. So
Yeah.
that's some of the things we do. And talking about some history with the Italian American
Yes.
Club, I think next month, early May, the San Gennaro Feast is here again
Yes.
in Las Vegas. Now that's not really affiliated with the Italian American Club anymore, but just part of the history is that the very first San Gennaro Feast in Las Vegas was held at the Italian American
It
Club.
was? I didn't know that,
Yeah,
Angelo.
at the Italian American Club,
Wow.
right at our current location.
Yeah.
And that was 1980.
Yeah.
Back in 1980, the San Gennaro Feast was held in the parking lot. We had all the booths and
Yeah.
Italian sausages and
All the
liquor,
good stuff.
music, and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff like this. And the promoter at the time, his name was Jimmy Palmisano. He was an old timer from Rhode Island.
Yes.
And people say he had some connections.
Yeah.
But anyways, they had a very successful San Gennaro Feast at the time. The Grand Marshal was Tony Bennett.
Really?
Also Ernest Borgnine, at the Italian American Club. So
Yeah.
it was all very cool.
Yeah.
Well, kind of the quick story about that is that when it was all over and done with 5 days of Italian sausage, music, wine, dancing, all that kind of stuff like this, when the dust all settled, everybody at the club got the word that the original promoter, Jimmy Palmisano, didn't give the club their square share, and the club lost money on this
Oh,
big event.
no.
So the whole city very much blackballed Jimmy Palmisano, saying that he was a bad guy. Okay, his reputation wasn't
Yeah.
that great, and it proved he stole all this money. Well, 8 years later, when I became president of the club, Jimmy recognized that I wasn't part of any faction, okay, and that he saw the good things that were happening at the club,
Right.
changed it to a legitimate business kind of thing like this. Next thing you know, I just get a phone call from Jimmy Palmisano, and I didn't know what this
Oh,
was all
no.
about. I was a little bit nervous about it, but he said he wanted to
Okay.
basically have a sit down. I said, okay, all right. So I went and met with him, and he was so methodical. He had a folder, a file deal like this with every single letter that he wrote to the club from the initial offering and proposal to partner up on it like this, to all the setup, all the permits and all that kind of stuff that went along with it, including then all the follow-up stuff that was saying that, how come you're not answering my calls? I'm not coming here to answer my letters. How come I never got a count in the money room? How could it possibly cost $12,000 to set up this booth, set
Yeah.
up that, do all this, do all that? How could you sold 3,000 pounds of sausage and not make any money? And the bottom line is, out of that meeting, there was just absolutely no question in my mind that Jimmy wasn't the thief.
No.
It was the board of directors
Oh,
of the
my
Italian American Club.
God.
They cut up some money, they put it here, put it there, and blamed him. And when I found out about that, of course I was very disappointed.
Well, sure.
But I also wanted to set the record straight in the community.
Yeah.
And I did. By this time, 8 years later, the guys that were on the board of directors at the time, some of them died, some of them moved to Aruba, but they knew it was coming down, and they were no longer affiliated.
Wow.
But I cleared Jimmy's name, and after that, we became very good friends. And when he then had the San Gennaro Feast at the old Landmark and this and there, different places like this, he would give the Italian American Club the concession for all the water. So anybody that put a booth in, they'd have hundreds of booths. Anybody that was going to sell water at their booth had to buy the water from the club.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And he did the same thing the following year with all the ice.
Yeah.
Anybody that wanted ice had to buy it from us like this.
Yeah.
So it was a nice shot in our arm like this, and we had a great relationship from then on. That's just a little bit of.
Oh, my goodness. See, I never knew any of that.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't, unless you
Yeah.
go back that far,
Yeah.
And so, one of the things that I like to talk about with the club is
Sure.
with their affiliation, of course, with the club.
Yeah.
Back when they made the movie Casino.
Yes.
Here in Las Vegas, of course,
Were
everybody
you
knew.
in that?
Yeah,
I was
in
going to
it.
say, I thought it was you.
So, I was president at the time, and Martin Scorsese told the casting director, her name was Marjorie Lear, to get a hold of me, the president of the Italian American Club,
Right.
and I'm not sure that he named me by name, but the president of the
Yeah.
club. I get a phone call. She says, we're making a movie. Well, everybody knew Vegas
sure.
knew.
Yeah.
Sharon Stone was here,
Yeah.
and
De Niro.
and
Yeah.
all those guys.
She-
Pacino.
Yeah.
So Pesci.
Joe
right,
Pesci,
Joe Pesci.
yeah.
So she says, we want to get as many people in the movie as we can, as extras and here and there. Next thing you know is we met at my office, and we're calling, I got the membership list, and we're calling every single one of them to go the next day,
Yeah.
7:30 in the morning, 7:40, 7:50, 8 o'clock, 8:10, every 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and go and see, what part you're going to be in, what
Yeah.
wardrobe and things like this. So now everything's going smooth, and one of the directors over there says, by any chance, do you have any, artifacts or statues that we can use in the movie? I said, well, everything we've got at the club is pretty permanent like this. I
Yeah.
said, but, maybe I can call Jimmy Palmisano at the San Gennaro feast. He's got those statues that they carry on in their procession.
Right.
So I called Jimmy. I said, hey, Jimmy, we're going to be in this movie. Can we use your statues? And he tells me, all right, if you're going to vouch for it and you're going to be responsible.
Yeah.
I said, oh, for sure I will be.
Yeah.
So I meet the crew from the movies over there, and we pick up all the statues, all this stuff, and they were in the scene. These things were in the scene at the VFW when Pesci takes the
Yeah.
pen and he's stabbing the guy in the throat
Yeah.
like that. All of my friends and all my friends, excuse me,
Oh my God.
are in that scene, and ultimately when it's all over and done with, we put the statues back in the trailers, locked them up over here off of Valley View.
Yeah.
I called Jimmy in Rhode Island. I said, Jimmy, movie's all over with all the statues are locked up, everything's safe, the gates are closed, the trailers are closed, everything, nothing's broke, everything's good like that. He says, great. He said, now tell those guys, those big shots at the movie, to write a check for 10 G's to the Italian American Club. It'll be my donation.
Yeah.
I said, what? Yeah, listen. I said, Jimmy, how am I going to tell them after the fact? He said, just do what I tell you. They'll do it. I said, they're not going to do it. He says, tell them if they don't do it to take that scene out of the movie, or otherwise I won't sign. Well, I realize now, this old guy,
Yeah.
he knew the day he gave me the keys, he was going to do it after the fact. Sure enough.
And it worked?
And it did. It did. I said, look, I don't know if you know who this guy is, but I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so they wrote a check, they made a
Yeah.
donation to the Italian American Club. This is, I don't know, 19, whenever we made that movie, 93 or 4
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that. So it's just one of the crazy things, a funny thing. But he was a beautiful guy.
Is he still alive?
No. He passed away probably 20 years ago.
Did he really?
Yeah. So his nephew, Anthony.
Oh, Anthony Palmisano.
Palmisano,
Okay,
he's-
I met
he-
Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony's
Yeah.
the one that's been running ever since.
Okay, yeah.
Ever since, so.
Is he as colorful?
No, not really. Nobody can be that colorful. Anthony's a good guy, though.
Yeah.
And Anthony's a good guy. He's been running it. He's very successful. He works very, very hard doing it. And people come and have a good time. It's grown. It's huge.
Is it twice a year?
It's twice a year. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's twice a year. And
Yeah.
this year it's over at the past couple of years he's had it at the M Casino.
Oh, that's
out
good.
there,
That's a good place. Yeah.
Yeah, the everything's paved. It's nice. It's neat. It's clean. They've got a lot of security, which they don't really need because,
Right.
the location is good. That it doesn't bring in riffraff like
Right.
like that. The entertainment's fun and,
Yeah.
and people get out there. But it's a big challenge what he does, putting that on every year, and a lot of expenses and of course it's a gamble because.
Yeah.
You can do all that stuff. You can have 3 days of rain. Does it rain
Yeah.
in Vegas? No, never.
Yeah.
San Gennaro feast, sometimes it does.
It does.
The wind can go 50 miles an hour. But but he successfully works very hard, and it's a thing that just kind of keeps it alive here in Vegas.
Oh, that's wonderful. Angelo, if people want to join the Italian American Club, how do they do that?
Yeah, well, the same thing with their website when they're talking
Yeah.
about, even get back not only to join the Italian American Club, but if you know any Italian American students here that live in Clark County that you think are eligible for a scholarship, go to our website. Again, it's IACvegas.com. You'll see our membership application on there. You'll also see the scholarship application on there. Now, we're getting close to running out of time, being March 19th. March 31st is the deadline for our scholarship.
Okay.
So you can join our club through our website, iacvegas.com. The membership application is on there. And/or if you know some deserving young Italian Clark County student, our scholarship application is online as well.
Okay. Well, this was fun. This is the second time I had you on a show.
Yeah.
And I learn new things from you every time you're on. I really do. So I hope you'll come back again.
Oh, I appreciate the
Yeah.
invitation.
Yep.
And I don't remember how long ago we were talking about. It's probably been over 10 years,
Oh,
I think, since the last time. But
yeah.
we
But
enjoy
we're both getting younger. We're not getting older.
Yeah. My nose is starting to...
And Nancy, she's your angel.
Yeah.
I love Nancy. Well, your next meeting comes up.
It's Wednesday, April the 3rd. We
Yeah.
have as our special guest speaker the first Wednesday of every month is the president of the National Italian American Foundation from Washington, D.C.
Really?
Yeah, from Washington, D.C. I told you about our affiliation with them.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud that our club is recognized throughout the entire United States.
Yeah.
And our affiliation with NIAF is the National Italian American Foundation. We've got a great relationship with them. They're very supportive of us. Their programs help, including, like I said, sending that student over there. But I've invited Robert Allegrini, who's the president, to come out to our club and be
wonderful.
our guest speaker. And he welcomed the invitation, and he'll be our guest speaker.
Well, Steve and I will be there.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm always there when I can be.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you
Yes,
both.
for sure. And I want to thank my special guest today, Angelo Cassaro, and a lot of things we learned that we didn't know. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share Suzy's Las Vegas. Look forward to seeing you on the next show. Thank you.